Welcome to the next Click Create Artist Spotlight. Today, we have offshoot3D, also known as Jonathan Nash. Tell me about your goals when you made the piece that you made for Click Create.
The prompt was the first step is the hardest but often the most rewarding. So that gave me the idea of there's this artist, he does this amazing thing where he climbs upstairs and then he jumps off on a trampoline. So I don't know if you've seen it, and comes back up. And it's just like, it's so cool. And I have that saved like in my bookmarks folder. And I've been meaning to do an animation on it for ages. So when you said like the first step is the hardest, that clicked in my mind. So I was like, right, let's do it. So I started making it, and I was like, the spacemen in the animation are running up the steps, they're jumping off the trampoline, and they're back on the steps. So I'm like, that's life, you know, like you're climbing the steps of success. You fail, or you succeed, you get to the top, you jump back off, and you start all over again. So that was the main thought behind it. And then I was like, let's add in some more spacemen. And then my first mind was like, let's just make them jumping up and down. That sounds cool. And then I thought, well, what if that's like the work-life balance of success, right? The last one is like, well, I thought it'd be cool just to have a little spaceman sliding backwards and forwards from a Zen pose to a sad, and that's like your stress levels, because like NFTs can be stressful. So I had that in my mind. So I was like, yeah, like that in my, and that all just came from that prompt, and I just thought, yeah, that all kind of melds together. That works.
What is your style in your own words?
Man, I wish it was easy. I wish I was just like a classic like impressionist painter or something. I don't know. I mean, I would say that it's always evolving. So when I first started doing NFTs, I was aiming for realism. Like I love those, you know, like miniature model makers, and I love that kind of little diorama. So I was trying to recreate that in 3D. So it's all about realism. And then like I would say about a year ago, I was looking through my feed at all the great artists, and the colours were amazing. You don't get it if you're aiming for realism. You kind of have to mute down the colours. So I thought like, right, I want to do that. So I just started adding colour, and that kind of took me into more of a cartoony style of animation, which I quite like, and I'm still doing now. But now I'm thinking like, what if we brought back a bit of the realism and mixed it back together with the stuff I've learned? So yeah, it's like it's always evolving. I can't really like pinpoint like how you would describe it, but I always aim for satisfying animation. I try and make them loop if I can, and there always has to be like some kind of like story behind like the animation. Like I can't just if it just looks good, I need it to mean something. So I aim for that. But yeah, I don't know how you describe that in a style. It's just
Man, I remember your early stuff, and it was like
yeah. So the one you collected, that's like the perfect example of like aiming for like ultra realistic. Most people think it's CG mixed with real video, but it's just all CG. So yeah, I used to love doing that stuff, and I still love doing it. But yeah, I like the cartoony and colourful side of things as well now.
No, I love it too. Your progression. I mean, I like all of it. Like that. I remember the realism was cool because you like had this little phone on a stand, but your new colorful stuff is just it's a play on the imagination, and it's really good. Like with the piece that you created for Click Create, you know, the guy's like having a good time, but he's climbing, going up the steps.
I'm all about just
down.
Having a good time.
For sure. I love it. So what inspires you to create?
Well, I would say I'm a creative person, so I have that like burning desire to always create something. Like I just need to, and I feel like if I'm just sitting watching something, I'm just thinking about like what can I create. Like even like before I became a full-time 3D artist, like I used to just have like a customer service job, like in a shop, and just all I could think about was like, I've learned this new thing, 3D. What can I create with it? And yeah, like it only took me like a year from learning 3D to kind of get in a job doing that. So, 'cause I was just obsessed. Like I'm like when I find something new that I love, I'm just like laser focused on doing it like all the time. Also, like I would say that on Twitter and Instagram, like you scroll your feed, and mine is just all artists, like all NFT artists, and that is inspiring, right? Like I have bookmarks like everywhere, and then like when you're stuck on something, you just go and look at all those loads of great art, and that's it. You don't have to copy anything. You just look at it and you go like, oh, that's a good idea. I can apply that same thought to my like animation, and it's just like it's the key. Like there's so many times I was sitting there going, oh, like what can I do? And then I'm just like, well, I'll just go look and see what other people are doing, and it's suddenly just like something goes off in your brain, and yeah, it all clicks.
What goals do you have as a digital artist?
I would say like on a base level, just to keep doing digital art full time, like NFTs. There's also like a big difference between doing your own stuff and doing other people's stuff, like corporate stuff. Like, and when I first started, I didn't really think about that, but now I've had like a full year, 2 years to do like NFTs that are just my own. It's just like, oh, I can't even go back to anything else, you know, like that is it. And then like, then I have like, obviously I have higher goals. Like I want to be like one of the top animators in NFTs. I want people to like mention my name at the top. Like you need those goals. Like I'm happy just to be like making a full-time living, but yeah, you got to aim high, don't you?
What is coming for you in the future? Do you have any big projects or releases coming up?
So I just released an open edition that was kind of like an NFT factory. I want to build on that, and I have like the whole thing mapped out in my brain, but it's just executing it now. So I don't know how much I want to say, because like my plans will change, but I hope to release maybe like 4 more NFT factory editions that are either burns or just owners of previous ones can redeem it. And then I have like an end goal, which I'm not going to say like right now, because I'm still changing the plans. It's not quite an NFT collection how you would think of them normally, but it's hopefully something unique.
So can you tell us about your biggest win in the space?
There's 2 angles to that. Like there's the monetary side, where like getting those big sales, that's always amazing, you know, like. But yeah, like I would say also on the other side, I was reading on Twitter today, there's people talking about how like artists saying how they wish they could just make like a living from doing their NFTs. And that made me realize like, well, that's what I do. So like that's the biggest win, right? I just get to make the art that I like every single day. And it's just like, yeah, never get bored of that.
What is the best advice you can offer to the Click Create community based on your experience so far?
I would say like if you're buying NFTs, just buy what you like. And that's obvious, right? But it's people that were buying NFT like X copies and CryptoPunks, they were not like, this is going to be my retirement fund. They were just buying it because they liked it. And I feel like people are always chasing like what the next hype thing is, but someone's just bought that already because they liked it, and now they're going to ride that wave just because they like the art. Yeah, you just need to trust your own taste as well, because sometimes sometimes you're buying stuff that's unpopular, but as long as you like it, like that's all that matters, really, isn't it? But it's easy to get swayed by other people's opinions.
Okay, so if you were an animal, what would you be and why?
It's a tough one, these are the hard-hitting questions. I would say a penguin. I'm gonna go with a penguin. Like I love those nature documentaries. Penguins are always like the most interesting animals on them. And obviously, I love the pudgy penguins as well. So always got penguins on the brain.